over half of the abdomen. Part of it was removed just for the sake of showing you. This is to represent the greater omentum. And it's attached at this point to the stomach, which if you put that model together again and find the correct stomach, it will look like it's attached. So that stomach has a piece of this, what is it, greeny, mustardy green? Okay. This is the greater omentum. We have all the functions for that one. Protection against trauma, storage of fat. Underneath it, we can see the cecum. We can see the ileocecal valve. And then the first part of the ascending colon, hepatic flexure, transverse colon, splenic flexure, descending colon, and now this last part that starts to move around, it'll come out this way as well. This is the sigmoid colon. We never look for the sigmoid colon on the cat. We won't. Okay. The cat will come out on Wednesday. Looking at the back of the model, this structure here is coming off of the cecum. And this is the appendix, or vermiform appendix. This model does a good job of showing this, which interconnects most of the large intestine. It does connect to a bit of small intestine, but its job is to, as a serous membrane, to interconnect the parts of the large intestine. This is the mesocolon. Okay. Shows up really, I think, nicely on this. Looking at it from the back, can you guess or tell what this is? Duodenum. It's the duodenum. And this is the pancreas in the curve of the duodenum. Turn it over, and the pancreas becomes pretty distinct. Okay. And this again, too, is a bit of the mesocolon. And this first part here, this is still duodenum. Not a good place to ask you, but I thought if you can do it here, you should, build up your confidence. If you can't do it here, it's duodenum. Now, I think I went over this one, but I'm not sure. Did anybody remember it? If
No,
I had, I would
think,
call it
I don't think so.
pate plate or something, since it's mostly liver. Okay. Okay. So we have two models that show this. And this one is, well, one of my favorites. This is liver. Okay. That's not hard. What's the rest? What's this thing? Gallbladder. The gallbladder is a really good starting point. The exit from the gallbladder or entrance into it is the cystic duct. Borrow that for a second. There's the cystic duct. Here's the hepatic duct. Now that splits, and there's a right and a left hepatic branch, but we call this the hepatic, and this the cystic. And here is the common bile duct. And it's coming to a small little, uninflated in this model, ampule. This is the ampulla of Vater. The exit from the ampulla of Vater is the sphincter of Oddi, spelled O-D-D-I. It's got another name too, and I'm trying to remember the name for it. Pancreatic, I'll get it for you. But on your exam, it's asked the correct answer is sphincter of Oddi. Here's the pancreatic duct. So this must be the pancreas. Pancreas is in the curve of the, what part of the small intestine? Duodenum. And then these ribs inside.
Guy.
Small intestine. Plicae circularis. Plicae circularis. There is a new name for it, but we're not going to use it. Okay? I'm not going to throw, although the new name is easier, circular folds. Okay. Watch. We do circular folds next year. and 2 years later it'll go back to plicae circularis. It's always been. Okay. These are plicae circularis. Their function is to increase the surface area of the small intestine and also to help move the contents down. Sure. This structure right here, this is a challenge. What the hell is that? It can only be wrong.
What'd you point to?
The worst you could be is wrong. What's this? It's part of the stomach. Okay, the stomach's sitting up here and got sliced. Okay, so to be realistic and at the same time maybe a challenge, that's a big part of the stomach right there. I would never ask you that, but you know that. What's this over here?
Kidney.
Spleen.
Spleen or kidney?
Spleen.
Well,
Oh, yes.
that's your vote.
Yes.
Oh, whatever
Spleen.
Julia said? Yeah, okay. Then you're all right. Okay. Spleen. Spleen is made up of what type of tissue? Reticular tissue.
Reticular tissue.
Okay. Spleen's function is to break down red blood cells, also stores white blood cells, and increases blood volume by or stores blood for any small bleeding that you might have internally. Not going to save your life if it keeps on going though. Okay. The largest gland in the body is this one. What is it?
Liver.
The liver. It's made up of glandular epithelium. Okay. Does the liver have ducts? Do glands other than endocrine glands? Do glands that are not endocrine glands? Let's put it that way. Do they have ducts? Pancreas has ducts. Name me a gland that is not an endocrine gland and does not have ducts. I don't think you can do it. They all have ducts. Glands are either those with ducts, and we call those exocrine glands, or endocrine glands, and those are ductless. There's a combination, of course, when we get to the pancreas, which we're going to talk about on Wednesday. Pancreas is a real exception. Okay. This model shows the plicae circularis also very nicely. This model, let's see, we're just on liver. These are lobules. Central vein, did that. If you look at the lobule cut this way as a disc with 6 sides, at each of the 6 corners where it meets another disc, you have a triad. You have an arterial, venual, and the part of the hepatic portal system. The veins, the triad itself is largely venous in nature. You've got a vein in there, and you've got the hepatic portal. It's part of the venous structure. It does not go back to the heart yet. It's going into these lobules, okay, until it's on its way back directly to the heart. Okay? Well, if it is, it's on its way back to the heart. Got one more set of capillaries to go through. We have 2 sets of capillaries in the hepatic portal system. The other place where we have 2 sets of capillaries is in the kidney. Okay, back up to the kidney. Usually in systemic circulation, things go out, find a set of capillaries, come back. In the kidney, there's 2 sets of capillaries. The first is glomerulus, and then is the vasa recta. And then it comes back. Okay. In the liver, it's the other place where in the hepatic portal system you have 2 sets of capillaries. The first set of capillaries is in the small intestine, in the lamina propria. Then the material that's picked up will come into the lobule, where you have another second set of capillaries. But you're on your way back to the heart, okay? And we consider this part of the venous system, the venous system. The little arteries, those are coming to feed or bring nutrients to the liver itself. They did not come from the small intestine. The hepatic portal veins come from the small intestine. I don't know if we got a new one of these or somebody cleaned it up, but let's leave it clean if we can. Most of the models show either show the tonsils or they don't, and they very seldom show the adenoids. Those are the common names for these two sets of lymph nodes. At the back of the soft palate, okay, just below it in the oral pharynx, are our tonsils. We call them the palatine tonsils, because they're right there at the edge of the palatine bone on either side. Palatine tonsil. We can't see the adenoids, which are up in the nasal pharynx. Generally, if somebody does have their tonsils removed, the adenoids are taken at the same time, because they're usually having trouble with both. As you know, these days, most people don't get their tonsils removed. It used to be a given that, you know, you've got a sore throat, we'll take your tonsils out. These days, they tend to leave them. This structure here, this was the trachea, and the upper part of the trachea was, the largest part, was the thyroid cartilage. At the back, it's actually cricoid cartilage. These two are not the same thing here. The thyroid cartilage is in the front, and if you look at the large models once again, you'll see the cricoid cartilage widens in the back. But this is what I want to show you, is this little structure right here. This is the one that flops over and closes the opening. The opening is the glottis. This is the epiglottis. The epiglottis is made up of elastic cartilage. Elastic cartilage. Okay, somehow or other, even with that Monday holiday last week, we finished everything except the cat. And the cat